Welcome in, everybody. We're diving into some really fascinating reflections today, all about persistence and letting go and those things that just keep us going. Those like burning desires.
It's always so interesting to kind of dig into this stuff, It's like a journey.
It is a journey.
Yeah.
And you shared that awesome analogy about smashing a rock from different angles to like see things in a new way.
Hmm.
And it really hit me. I think we've all been there. Like you're hitting your head against a wall and you're stuck. But sometimes you just need that like little shift in perspective to find a way forward.
It's like that saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If what you're doing isn't working, it might be time to try something else.
Absolutely. And you were so honest about how this wiggling mentality, as you called it, it's not always easy to maintain. Some days it just feels easier to give up.
Oh, for sure. It's this constant back and forth between pushing forward and knowing when to surrender. Sometimes stepping back can be just as important as powering through. It gives you a chance to look at your goals and your motivations and make sure you're on the right track.
That makes me think about your gym analogy.
Yeah.
There are times when I push myself way too hard and I get burnt out
Yeah.
and I need to take a break.
Mm.
And you know what? Sometimes that break helps me realize that I actually miss it.
Yeah.
Like I miss the challenge. The gym is something that I actually enjoy.
It's that intrinsic motivation kicking in. It's like a plant reaching for the sunlight. We all have these inner drives that guide us. Sometimes we just need to step back and just listen to what they're trying to tell us.
That's such a good point.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always about forcing yourself to do something or like having crazy willpower.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's more about connecting with that deeper sense of purpose.
Yeah.
Like that burning ball of desire that keeps you
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. And speaking of those inner drives,
Yeah.
what really struck me was how you were talking about beliefs and values, like that foundation of who we are.
Yeah. It's so important.
And you said we shouldn't just cling to our beliefs. We should be willing to question them and test them against other perspectives.
Absolutely. Because if our beliefs can't handle a little bit of scrutiny, how strong can they really be? It's like putting them through a fire, refining them against different viewpoints.
I love that analogy. It reminds me of those debates I used to have in college. Sometimes I'd walk away feeling even stronger about my original belief. And other times I'd realize I needed to change my thinking. And that's okay. It's part of how we learn and grow.
Exactly. Growth comes from being open to new ideas, even if they challenge what we already believe. And sometimes letting go of a belief that doesn't serve you anymore can be so freeing.
It's like getting rid of clutter in your mind to make space for something new. And speaking of letting go, your thoughts on healthy stubbornness were really interesting. It's not something you hear every day.
Right, because we usually think of stubbornness as a bad thing. But like you said, it can be a powerful force when it's aligned with your values.
Think about all the amazing innovators and artists and activists who never gave up on their vision. That's healthy stubbornness in action.
Yeah, it's that total commitment to something bigger than themselves. They refuse to compromise on their core principles. That's what fuels their tenacity and helps them overcome obstacles that would crush other people.
But you also warned about being stubborn in a way that's not connected to your values. The kind of stubbornness that's just rigid and inflexible. How can we tell the difference?
That is the question, isn't it? I think it all comes down to being self-aware and honest about why you're doing what you're doing. Are you digging in your heels because you truly believe in something? Or is it ego or fear that's driving you?
So it's about checking in with yourself and making sure your actions are aligned with your values.
Exactly. And being willing to adjust if you realize you've gotten off track. It's not about always being right. It's about being true to yourself and what you believe in.
I loved it. You've given us so much to think about today. It's clear that you've put a lot of thought into these ideas, and I really appreciate you sharing your insights with us.
It's been my pleasure. These conversations are always so rewarding.
It feels like we've come full circle. We started with that image of smashing a rock to see things differently.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about the importance of staying true to our values. It's been an amazing journey.
And as you continue on your own journey, I want you to keep exploring those burning balls of desire that fuel your tenacity. What are they telling you? Where are they leading you? And most importantly, are they aligned with your core values? Keep asking those questions and you'll never stop growing.
That's the perfect way to end this conversation. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.